On the morning of July 24th, the skies above Southeast Asia erupted in fire. A Royal Thai Air Force F-16 fighter jet went down in a blazing crash across the rugged Preah Vihear mountain range. Almost immediately, Cambodia, a nation whose military still relies heavily on second-hand equipment and lacks advanced fighter aircraft, declared responsibility. Officials in Phnom Penh announced that the jet had been shot from the sky by a Chinese-made QW-3 man-portable air defense system, MANPADS. The symbolic weight of this act was enormous. For Thailand, it was a humiliating strike against the pride of its Air Force. For the United States, the supplier of those F-16s, it was nothing less than a direct challenge. Within hours, Thailand declared the attack an act of war. That same day, the conflict ignited on the ground. Cambodian BM-21. Grad rocket artillery unleashed a punishing salvo on the Thai border town of Surin. Thai forces responded with heavy counter-barrages. Explosions shook civilian areas. Schools were hit. Civilians were killed. A red line that had long existed was now obliterated. But this was not just a local skirmish between two neighbors. Chinese weaponry was now being employed on Cambodian soil. American aircraft were in the skies backing Thailand. The border war had the potential to transform into a geopolitical earthquake, with fault lines stretching far beyond Southeast Asia. If this story rattles you, imagine standing on the edge of the Dangrek Highlands where history, politics, and war have collided for generations. These mountains form a jagged border between Thailand and Cambodia, and perched upon its cliffs sits the 1,000-year-old Preah Vihear Temple, sacred, disputed, and forever contested. For decades, this temple has been a lightning rod. In 1962, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, ruled that the temple itself belonged to Cambodia, relying on maps drawn during the French colonial period. But like so many colonial legacies, the ruling left the surrounding land undefined. That ambiguity became fertile ground for nationalism on both sides. Half a century later, in 2013, the ICJ reconfirmed Cambodia's sovereignty over the temple. Yet once again, the court sidestepped the question of the surrounding buffer zone, a swath of land stretching several square kilometers. Both Thailand and Cambodia claimed this gray area as their own. What followed was decades of skirmishes. Flags planted, outposts built, and, at times, exchanges of artillery fire. By mid-2025, the fuse was lit once more. Cambodia organized a grand celebration at Preah Vihear to mark the 1962 legal victory. Thailand saw this as a provocation. Protests broke out in Surin, Ubon, and Sisaket provinces. Military buildups followed. Cambodia deployed rocket artillery and short-range radar near the cliffs. Thailand moved in armored vehicles and reconnaissance, drones. In just a week, there were 17 skirmishes at the squad level. Still, the fragile balance held until a single explosion shattered it. On July 16th at 4:55 p.m., a Thai soldier patrolling near the Chong Arn Ma Pass in Ubon Ratchathani stepped on a PMN-2 anti-personnel mine. The blast tore through his leg. 4 others were wounded, suffering concussive injuries. The Royal Thai Army declared that the mine was Russian-made, one Thailand neither stockpiled nor deployed. Bangkok accused Cambodia of laying the mine, calling it a violation of the Ottawa Convention on the Prohibition of Anti-Personnel Mines. Phnom Penh denied the accusation, claiming the device was a leftover from past wars, but by then the situation had already begun spiraling out of control. On July the 24th, Thailand escalated. 6 F-16s were deployed for counterattack missions. One jet struck deep into Cambodian territory, obliterating a base believed to house BM-21 rocket systems. We used air power to strike military targets according to our planned objectives, stated Colonel Ridichai Sukwan, deputy spokesperson of the Royal Thai Army. Thai officials accused Cambodia of introducing heavy weapons into the clashes, including multiple rocket launchers, making escalation unavoidable. Meanwhile, reports from Surat Sharanthanasak, head of the Kukan district in Surin province, confirmed that 2 Thai civilians were killed and 2 soldiers wounded by cross-border fire. Cambodia, for its part, confirmed the airstrike, declaring that Thai F-16s had bombed military positions inside Preah Vihear province. It was the first use of Thai air power in this disputed area since 2011. Phnom Penh accused Thailand of violating its airspace, while Bangkok, backed by the U.S., denied the claim. The truth of the coordinates hardly mattered. What mattered was the decision, made from a mobile radar station deep in the Cambodian jungle, to fire. The border conflict, long a simmering dispute, had now exploded into open war. A guidance signal pulsed across the slopes of Preah Vihear, sharp and deliberate. Hidden on the mountainside, a Chinese-supplied QW-3 man-portable air defense system, MANPADS, was primed to strike. The QW-3 was no ordinary shoulder-fired weapon. Unlike the American Stinger or Russian Igla, which rely solely on infrared seekers, this system operated with semi-active laser guidance, making it resistant to the usual countermeasures like heat, flares. With a range of nearly 8 kilometers and an engagement ceiling above 3,500 meters, the QW-3 was specifically designed to destroy fast-moving, low-flying targets, unmanned drones, helicopters, and even fighter aircraft. Though never officially listed among the weapons China had provided to Cambodia, intelligence reports revealed a different truth. Under the cover of anti-UAV training programs, the QW-3 had in fact been introduced as a combat-capable system, deployed by Cambodian forces under the close technical supervision of Chinese advisors. 9:42 a.m. A flash erupted from the hillside. The missile screamed skyward at 750 meters per second, locking onto the heat plume of a Royal Thai Air Force F-16 flying at 1,800 meters altitude. Inside the cockpit, the pilot's threat detection systems howled with warnings. He banked hard, flares streaking from the jet's belly, but the missile was already on him. A thunderous impact tore through the right wing, setting the engine ablaze. Seconds later, the jet spiraled downward, crashing in flames. The Cambodian strike had succeeded. The first Thai F-16 had been destroyed, and with it, the fragile peace shattered. The border erupted. A full-scale conflict had begun. From the northern edges of Otter Menchie province, Cambodian BM-21 Grad multiple rocket launchers roared to life. Over 40 rockets streaked into the sky, slamming into Thai defensive positions around Surin, Kap Choeng, and the disputed zones near the ancient Tamwan Tom Temple, a long-standing hotspot in the sovereignty dispute. Not all the rockets hit their intended marks. Several rained down on Ban Nong Mek village, killing 2 civilians and wounding at least 5 more, according to early reports from Thailand's Ministry of Public Health. The Thai response was immediate. Within 15 minutes, Caesar 6X6 self-propelled howitzers stationed in Sisaket province opened fire. Guided by real-time coordinates from ScanEagle UAVs and the advanced Q-53 counter-battery radar supplied by the United States in late 2024, the Thai artillery delivered 12 precise salvos. One strike obliterated a Cambodian ammunition depot near the foothills of the Dangrek Mountains. The depot erupted in a chain of explosions that tore through supply trucks and fuel stores. Flames and secondary blasts burned for over 2 hours, and satellite imagery confirmed that the entire encampment of Cambodia's 3rd Artillery Battalion had been annihilated. But Thailand's retaliation did not end there. The Royal Thai Air Force dispatched 2 more F-16s from Ubon Ratchathani Air Base, armed with GBU-12 Paveway 2 laser-guided bombs. Their target, a Cambodian field command post near Preah Vihear. The strike was devastating, disabling Cambodia's artillery coordination radar for nearly an hour and reportedly killing multiple senior officers. Yet, Cambodia refused to yield. From concealed sites deep within the Pria Vihir jungles, at least 2 QW-18 man-portable missiles were launched, forcing Thai jets into desperate evasive maneuvers. One F-16 took shrapnel damage and was forced to limp back to Korat Air Base, its right wing badly torn. Meanwhile, Cambodian D-30 towed howitzers and 120 mm mortars unleashed constant barrages against Thai logistics hubs near Chong Chom. A Thai supply convoy was ambushed, 2 trucks reduced to burning wreckage, 3 soldiers critically injured. In a bold escalation, Cambodia deployed an elite special operations detachment believed to be part of the notorious Brigade 911. They infiltrated jungle positions and ambushed a Thai forward outpost. For 10 minutes, gunfire echoed through the canopy. Both sides took casualties before the Cambodians melted back into the forest. The fighting now spanned over 60 kilometers of borderland. Both militaries escalated with cutting-edge systems. Thailand unleashed Israeli-made Skystriker loitering munitions, which struck a Cambodian artillery staging ground near Trapieng Krabe, crippling at least 2 Type 90B field guns. Cambodia struck back with a jury-rigged drone carrying an improvised explosive device, which successfully damaged a Thai reconnaissance radar vehicle near Pu Sing, blinding Thai surveillance for 30 minutes. Phnom Penh then announced the deployment of 1,200 reinforcements, including an additional Special Forces battalion from Phnom Penh, 3 Type 90B artillery companies, and a newly installed JY-27A medium-range radar system positioned close to the border. Reports circulated that Chinese military experts, recently spotted at Ream Naval Base, had been dispatched to assist in restoring Cambodia's battered command network. The escalation drew immediate diplomatic consequences. Bangkok recalled its ambassador from Phnom Penh and requested an emergency ASEAN summit. At the same time, Thailand moved in heavier assets. Convoys carried Brazilian-made Astros II long-range multiple rocket launchers into Sisaket province, while jungle-hardened troops of the 6th Infantry Brigade advanced toward the contested borderlands. By then, the 3 main border crossings, Chong, Arn Ma, Pu Sing, and Ban Phu Din, were already under military lockdown. The war had spread from isolated skirmishes to a grinding, multi-front conflict. By the evening of July 24th, the border was completely sealed. More than 4,000 Thai civilians had been evacuated, while hundreds of Cambodian families were also fleeing villages near Tamuan Tom and Pria Vihir. In Thailand's Kantharalak district, disaster struck when shelling from across the border caused the roof of a primary school to collapse. Images of terrified children huddled in bomb shelters raced across social media, sparking nationwide outrage. Thai television anchors described the attack as an assault on the nation's future. The Pria Vihir Temple, once honored as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, had become a battlefield scar. What was once a symbol of history and faith was now locked, down behind layers of checkpoints laced with anti-personnel mines to deter infiltrators. The temple was no longer a cultural treasure, it was a forbidden zone. Artillery thunder echoed into the late afternoon as reconnaissance drones circled, constantly overhead. Diplomacy blurred into militarism. Humanitarian principles dissolved into the rhythm of shells, UAV strikes, and guided bombs. ASEAN now faced its greatest test since the South China Sea disputes, but this time, the battlefield lay at the very heart of mainland Southeast Asia. Pentagon alarm. That evening, inside the U.S. State Department, an emergency session was convened. Reports from the Cambodian-Thai border were no longer being dismissed as minor clashes. Instead, the Pentagon flagged disturbing escalations, the frequency of shelling, the growing number of F-16 sorties, and, most concerning, the confirmed use of Chinese-supplied medium-range systems. An internal assessment warned that the conflict could easily spiral beyond regional containment. In Bangkok, the Thai parliament met behind closed doors with military leaders and members of the royal family. Calls grew for a no-fly zone over the disputed areas and authorization to strike deep tactical targets inside Cambodia. The Thai Ministry of Defense issued a stark warning. If Cambodian artillery continues to cross the border, Thailand will consider expanding strikes to deeper targets, regardless of province. Phnom Penh's response, Cambodia, did not flinch. On national television, Prime Minister Hun Sen addressed the nation. "This is not a temporary clash. This is a war to defend our sovereignty." He ordered the entire northern region to red alert. Deliveries of new Chinese hardware accelerated. Fixed-wing UAVs, electronic warfare jammers, and extended-range artillery shells were rushed to frontline units. International reactions. The United States officially called for an emergency United Nations Security Council session. Washington's representative to ASEAN declared, "We do not want to see a miniature Donbass unfold in Indochina. Should long-range weapons cross borders, the United States will be forced to reconsider its intervention policy." Meanwhile, U.S. Indo-Pacific Command quietly raised its readiness. The USS America Amphibious Assault Group was placed on standby in the South China Sea. On the afternoon of July 24th, a U.S. EP-3E surveillance aircraft flew close to northern Cambodia, collecting electronic intelligence, a clear signal of tactical interest. China, while avoiding direct intervention, sharpened its rhetoric. The Global Times published, "Cambodia has the right to self-defense and the freedom to select its partners." At Ream Naval Base, satellite imagery revealed an unidentified resupply ship flying a foreign flag, rumored to belong to the PLA Navy's South Sea Fleet. ASEAN gathered for an urgent meeting in Jakarta, but divisions quickly fractured the talks. Vietnam and Indonesia urged for an immediate ceasefire. Laos stayed silent. The Philippines leaned toward Thailand. A joint declaration was impossible. A powder keg. U.S. intelligence assessed that if Cambodia escalated further, using armed UAVs or long-range guided artillery against rear-area targets like Ubon Air Base, Washington would likely activate bilateral emergency assistance protocols under the 1954 treaty with Thailand. The stage was set. Military deployments surged, diplomacy faltered, and humanitarian fallout deepened. The war now hinged on a single miscalculation. One stray missile, one errant shell, could drag outside powers directly into the fight. All eyes turned once again to the Pria Vihir mountain range, a sacred landmark now overshadowed by artillery smoke. Each decision taken there could alter not just the border, but the trajectory of regional history itself. Disclaimer: all scenarios and descriptions presented are simulated, hypothetical, and purely analytical. They are not intended to incite violence, endorse political positions, or encourage military conflict.